All right. So what was the next domino?
So let's see. It actually, there wasn't really a next domino. It all just kind of crumbled into place, if that makes sense. So I was at work one day, and I had noticed in myself that I was attaching myself to causes, and I had done this ever since high school. It might have been a product of maybe like growing up without a consistent father figure or something like that, but I would attach myself to causes, and every couple of weeks the cause would be different. So this week I'm a vegan.
Yep.
Next week I'm a communist.
Yep.
Next week I'm an anarchist, all that stuff. So
it's a search for identity.
It is 100%. And then one day I was at work, and I think by that time I had recently watched like The Godfather, and I was like, that's what it's about. You just have to make a bunch of money. People have to fear you. And meanwhile, I'm like working a minimum wage job, trying to pay my way through college. Got nothing going for me. I'm 5'4". I'm not threatening anybody. So it's like kind of hilarious that I had that mindset. But I was just a jerk to everybody. And I was like, the way that you live a good life, I guess, or live a life worthy of respect is you be honest with people, even brutally. Mm-hmm. So I would use that as an excuse to just be a jerk. And then I realized one day at work, actually, even if I accomplish everything I ever want to accomplish, and even 100 times exceeding my wildest expectations, there's no God. There's no life after this. So it's all just going to explode when the sun explodes, and no one's going to remember me. And most likely no one's going to remember me after a couple generations anyways. So everything's pretty insignificant. And I kind of felt this pit in my stomach of like I was falling, and I was just like, there's no purpose to my life. Like if I live the rest of my life 50 more years, or if I die right now, there's no difference morally to that. And that just didn't feel right, but I couldn't escape that that's a logical conclusion of my worldview. And so I was like, I think I got to re-examine this whole God thing. And at that time, I felt like a panic inside of me. Like, I don't know what direction to point my life towards. I don't know what to do. I don't know what is right or wrong. So I immediately thought, I need to read the Proverbs. And I started reading Proverbs, and I just loved it. And I couldn't stop reading the Bible. And even though I wasn't intellectually convinced that Christianity was true, I was like, there's some really deep wisdom here.
Yeah.
So.
Was it your grandparents who first introduced you to the Proverbs?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. My grandpa's always instilled a deep love of scripture in me ever since childhood.
So you were just sort of looking at like, hey, there's wisdom to be found everywhere. This is ancient wisdom. Whether it's part of the Bible or not doesn't matter to me, but.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then before I had like dabbled in Buddhism and stuff like that. So I was like, I need to figure out which one of these belief systems is most likely true. And I looked at the evidence for the resurrection, which I had already been looking at for a while. I looked at the evidence for maybe miracle claims in Buddhism and other religions, and found that the Christian evidence for Christian miracles, especially the resurrection and miracles since then, even up till recent times, very, very strong in Christianity, not very strong in other religions. So if any religious belief system is true, it's most likely this one. And then...
Did you give Buddhism a fair shake?
Yeah. Actually, in high school, I was very sympathetic to Buddhism. I even went to a Buddhist temple, and I was like, hey, I want to be a Buddhist. What do I do? And they were like, just be a Buddhist. Like, I don't know.
Like, come on, but isn't there a class?
Yeah, I'm like...
Don't you want money?
Yeah. I was like, is there like a book I should read? And they were like, yeah, there are a couple of books. There's kind of disagreements on which ones are truly from the Buddha, but here's some books. And I was like, okay, so like, what am I supposed to believe? And they're like, well, you could believe that there are deities in the clouds that you pray to, but you don't have to believe that. You could just believe that there's like the Buddha, and you try to imitate his life. And
you're like, try harder.
Yeah, I'm like,
try to win me.
Yeah, I was like, you guys don't... I mean, first of all, you guys don't agree on this stuff, and like pretty key things, like, are there multiple deities that you can pray to? And yeah, you really don't care if what I believe is true on this. Like, don't you have some kind of a system or some way to figure out what is true? And there just didn't seem to be anything like that. And I was like, all right, well, I guess that's just, I don't know. And then I've since actually looked more into Buddhism. I did a video about it too. And
yeah, I saw you had a convert on, didn't you?
Oh yeah. And she kind of, she described the same experience of not really knowing, like, there's not really a cohesive belief system where you like a catechism, right? We have our catechism. What does the church teach about contraception? You can go to the catechism paragraph, whatever, and look it up. There's nothing like that in Buddhism. There's been some attempts to make something like that, but I don't think it's, that widely accepted or effective maybe. But yeah. And
I remember finding Buddhism and religions that I assumed were like that. I don't know if they were or not. I was just a 17-year-old kid who didn't want to believe in God, but definitely wanted to look at pornography without feeling bad. And, like Buddhism and these types of religions can just initially, as you begin to look into it, it can give you this sense of spiritual depth, meditation, all that without kind of putting any moral claims upon me. I was a huge fan of that.
Yeah. That's the best.
Yeah.
Especially as a young gentleman.
Yeah. Doing stupid things. Not a gentleman at all. Just a young barbarian who only wanted to become increasingly vicious.
Yeah.
It was definitely attractive. Yeah. All right. Did you look into any other religions?
I did look into Islam.
Because of course God could exist, right? And then maybe Islam or Judaism or
right.
Did you go that route? Like, does God exist, or did you just not sure, but I'm going to look at these theistic religions?
Yeah, I looked at arguments for the existence of God. Most of those were coming from Christian sources, but I was just like, let me hear from their side, because all I've been hearing up until this point is like atheists giving me straw man arguments of what Christians believe. So let me hear what Christians actually believe from Christians. Why do they believe there's a God? And then I heard arguments like the argument from morality, the Kalam cosmological argument, the contingency argument. So there was a really good book actually called How Reason Leads to God by, I'm blanking on his name, but he was on Capturing Christianity a long time ago.
Okay.
I think his name is Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Something. He has a kind of
it'll come to me.
Unusual last name.
Yeah. Darn it. Rasmussen.
Rasmussen, yes. Brilliant book.
Yes.
Brilliant book.
Indeed.
So arguments like that were really convincing to me, and I was like, okay, this God thing is actually legit. Now it's a matter of which religion is true. So evidence for the resurrection was immediately where I went, and there was just no other religion that had evidence as strong as the resurrection, as much as I searched. So,
are you in dialogue with your grandparents and dad at this time?
Yeah.
Are they excited that you're kind of coming back on track?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I told my grandparents like, hey, actually I'm going back to a Calvary Chapel church now. And they were really excited about that. They were like, we've been praying for so long, because they knew that I was in a bad
God bless
place.
them.
Yeah.
Did you lose friends when you made this switch?
I didn't lose friends, thankfully. I don't think. If I did, I don't remember them. So it didn't really hurt. But friends were very surprised because, first of all, I was very politically on the left beforehand, hated Trump, hated everything conservative, hated religion.
Golly, I forget how old I am.
Right.
So you were like, because Trump...
This was 2016, 2017.
That's amazing. That's when I started Pints in 2016.
Awesome.
And you were a fetus. That's ridiculous. No. You were at college. Okay.
I was a college student, yeah.
Because you said you had become politically conservative and the pro-life. So then was it becoming more interested in Christianity that solidified your conservatism? Or were you also seeing like the transgenderism issue and these other things that you then reacted against?
Yeah, I think the definitely like obviously pro-life was before I became Christian. And then the other conservative beliefs about like, because even as a pro-life person, I was like, yeah, but homosexuality is not like, who cares? But once I actually learned what the Bible teaches and some of the natural philosophy behind that, I was like, yeah, I became even more politically conservative, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, so friends were just really amazed because beforehand, I was at one point an anarcho-communist, whatever the hell that means. And now I'm like...
What does that mean?
It's like we all live on a commune and, it's like you...
who's in charge?
No one's in charge, man.
Is that it? So it's like what happened in Portland, Oregon several years ago?
Yeah. I guess so.
That worked out well.
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were that at one point. Yeah.
Yep. And then now I'm a Christian. So I still have a friend today who's like, I still can't believe you're a Christian and you're like conservative, because she knew me from when I was the total opposite of all that. So that was the main reaction, just kind of shock. Mm-hmm. I actually had a friend from high school the other friend who was kind of arguing with me about Christianity, trying to convince me of Christianity. His name's Peter, by the way, great guy. He was like trying to talk to this other guy, another friend of mine, and his name's Justin. I don't think he'll mind if I share. He was like, you know what? Once Adrian agrees that Christianity is true, then come back to me, because that's never going to happen. And then I converted. I told Peter about it. He went to Justin. I was like, hey, man. But nothing's come of that yet. Okay. But yeah.
Thank you very much for watching that Pints with Aquinas clip. If you like it, do me a favor. Click like and subscribe. And please offer a Hail Mary for the work of Pints with Aquinas and all the people we're trying to reach. God bless you.